Okay, can y'all hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Fabulous. Sorry guys for technical difficulties. I swear I'm here, but you're just gonna have to see my picture because for whatever reason, my computer doesn't want to work with me today, but no worries. I'm very, very excited about what I'm going to talk to you tonight about. It's money, mindset, and coaching, and I'm just going to go ahead and let you know. I'm going to be pretty bold and speak pretty openly, and I'm going to talk about money. I'm going to talk about abundance. I'm going to talk about God, and I'm going to talk about the universe. So just a heads up, if you're not used to talking about all those things in one meeting, please know I'm coming from a place to help you grow, and both as a coach and spiritually. And I just want you to know, I know that these topics can sometimes be sensitive, but please know I'm coming from a good place. And I've had a lot of growth over the past year. And that's basically what I want to share with you today is the growth that I've gone through, what I've learned, and how we can apply it to our business. Now, if something comes up that triggers you, and it can either piss you off, make you think, maybe discourage you, if any of those things come up, no worries, they come up in this. I just want you to jot a little note down of like what you're feeling, and then we'll come back to that at the end, okay? So just observe your thoughts, no judgment, whatever you're feeling, jot that note down, and we can later come back and kind of explore more of that as we go going. Sound good? Can y'all give me a thumbs up since y'all can't see me? Okay, fabulous. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we'll go ahead and get started. So. Okay, so I titled this, What's Really Holding You Back from Making the Money You Deserve in This Business? And it's probably not what you think, because I know a lot of us, regardless of where you are in this business, if you started last week, if you've been a coach for 3+ years, you are probably going to get to the point in your business where you feel like, I feel like I should be making more money by now. And I will tell you, being 3 years in, I feel like I'm making pretty good, significant money. I'm super blessed in that respect. But even now, I've dealt with the pressure of, gosh, I just don't feel like I'm making the money that I deserve to be making at this point in my business. So I kind of want to take you through that, of why that might be happening for you. So first and foremost, this isn't going to be a strategy call on the 4 vitals and all the things that Beachbody teaches you, because you can get all that. We teach you that in all of our training, but I do want to brush over, this may be you. Maybe you are doing the 4 vital behaviors that we tell you to do as a coach. You are being a product of the product. You are inviting others to join you both on your fitness journey and on your team as a coach. You are doing personal development every single day. You're recognizing yourself, your challengers, your coaches. You are doing the 4 vital behaviors on a consistent behavior. You might even be attending every single team call. And even if you can't attend live, you're listening to the recording on Monday morning because you're staying plugged into the team. Maybe you're growing and learning daily, meaning you're being resourceful and you are taking initiative, and you are growing and learning everything you need to know about this business because it's always evolving, and you're doing that. But maybe you're still not where you want to be. You're still not seeing the level of success you want. I know that a lot of us on our team are feeling these things because I talk to my team, I talk to my leaders, and like, I'm doing all of the things and I still don't feel like I'm moving forward in my business. So if that's you, it's okay. That's exactly why we're having this call. But I'm just going to talk about success requiring 3 things. The first and foremost, you hear it on every national wake-up call, on every YouTube video you've ever seen on Beachbody, in the Coach Online office, in our training. It's the strategy of how to grow this business. It's the 4 vital behaviors that I just went over, your AKA all the things, right? We know that we have to have strategy. The second thing that we know we must have to be successful in this business is the mindset. And that's a huge, huge piece of this business. It's the personal development, it's affirmations, and it's unwavering belief. I will touch more on those as we continue. And then the third and final piece, it's usually the missing piece, is the energy and alignment in which we're conducting the strategy and we are working on our mindset. Most of us unknowingly block our potential because we don't actually believe it's possible for us, and we send that energy out into the universe. So that's really going to be the huge piece of what I'm talking about, is energy and alignment. And if you've never heard these terms, you're probably like, what the heck is she talking about? But no worries, I'm going to break it down for you. But I'm not kidding. This is usually the piece that most of us are missing, and it's why we can't break through that hump. We've worked hard, we've taken massive action, we've done the 10X rule, and we're still coming up against whatever block that's not allowing us to move into that next level of our business. So again, I'm not going to talk about the 4 vitals because we know that, we should know that. If you don't know that, Google it. That's not what this call is about. But I'm going to talk a little bit about your mindset. And I talked about mindset being made of personal development, belief, and affirmation. So first things first, how much time do you really spend on personal development and growth? I just want you to take a second and think over the course of a week, how much do you spend? Is it 10 minutes a day? Is it an hour a day? And then I want you to ask yourself, what is my PD focus? Because I know for a lot of us, especially as we get into this business, a lot of our personal development is listening to YouTube calls, listening to team calls, listening to other top coaches within the network on the Beachbody Champions page, listening to national wake-up calls. And when I was first in this business, I considered that my personal development. But now as I look back and I've seen where I've come, I don't consider that personal development. To me, that's just business strategy development. You are growing a business, you are a CEO, and you have to learn the strategies on how to do that. But if that's the only thing you're doing for your personal development, you're doing yourself a disservice. So I want you to really think about, where do I struggle? Where in my business do I struggle? For me, I'll be very honest with you. My biggest struggle area, especially this past year, really, was money mindset and belief. So 98% of my personal development is spent on money mindset and belief. The 3 books I've read this year in January have all been about money mindset. I just finally finished Think and Grow Rich. That's a hard book that took me a while to get through. I just finished The Science of Getting Rich. And then I'm now finishing You Are a Badass at Making Money. Okay, so you can see money mindset, money mindset, money mindset. And then constantly listening to YouTube videos on belief, 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 belief. So that's a little bit about what I'm focusing on. I want you to think about where you put in your personal development. And if it's just learning about how to do the business, how to work Instagram stories and Facebook stories more, I want to encourage you to set aside time. That's business strategy development, but that's not necessarily personal development that you might personally need or things you may need to overcome. And I guarantee after this call, I'll give you some ideas on maybe some areas that you can maybe focus your growth on. Next thing is on mindset is, how do you know if you have a toxic mindset? And if you've ever said these things, please don't be upset about it, because please know we've all said these things, myself included, and I'm pretty sure I probably said one of them last week. So first and foremost, thoughts of a toxic mindset, there's not enough. How many of us have sat here and been like, oh my gosh, the Beachbody coaching market is just saturated. There are so many coaches. I feel like every time I open up my social media, I'm seeing another coach, and there's just like not enough people as there are to coaches. If you've ever thought that, no judgment. Just recognize it's kind of toxic to think that way. And we'll break that down in just a little bit. Also, it's possible for her, but not me. I would almost guarantee and bet money that all of us at one point in our businesses have said that. And that's just the issue of comparisonitis, where we look at where somebody else is, and maybe they started after us, or maybe they started at the same time, or maybe they've had a significantly higher level of success than you have. And it's so easy to be like, oh, well, it's so easy for her because insert, she started before I did. She had a better transformation. She's more fit than I am. She's better at taking photos than I am. Insert everything you want, but just know it's not true. It's a limiting belief, and it's a toxic mindset. And then the final one that I think catches us a lot is that we're just not even sure of what we really want. And even I struggle with this. You can ask Jessica. We go over this round and round, and we say, what is it that we really want from this business? And if you've never really sat down to be very clear on what you want, that's also a sign of a toxic mindset, because it's holding you back. If you don't know what you really want, how do you know where you're never going to get anywhere, right? And then it's like you're spinning your wheels and you're getting nowhere. So I'm going to break those down just a little bit more for you. So there's not enough issue. Let me go there. We wake up, I did a live video on this last week, so I'm not going to touch on it too much, but we literally wake up in a state of not enough. How many times do you wake up and you're like, oh, I didn't get enough sleep? And then you're running late and you're like, oh my God, there's just like not enough time. I'm running late. You get to the end of your day. I've said this multiple times, man, if I just had a couple more hours in my day, it would just be so much more. It would just be better. You know, I talk about, it's the end of the month, right? And I don't know about a lot of you, but for 10 years of my life in the working world, I was paid on the first of the month. And here we sit on the 28th, I believe, and it would be like, oh my gosh, there's 5 weeks in January. There is not enough money to make it through the end of the month. So again, it's just not enough. And when you put that out into the world and the universe, that's what you get back, is not enough. But I want to encourage you to look around you, because there's more than enough. We literally live in a world of abundance. And if you don't believe that, you just need to go outside and spend some time in nature for a bit, because you can look out and see all the trees and the leaves and the animals and the spacious sky, and you breathe in oxygen and you can let it out and take in another breath, and there's never going to not be enough oxygen for you to breathe, because we literally live in a world of abundance. So if the more you focus on that, if we can reframe our thinking to see and feel abundance, that's what we're going to get more of. Again, I had a live video on this last week. You can go check on my Facebook page. I had to reframe what I was seeing in my life. Dirty dishes in my sink. More often than not, I have a dirty dishes in my sink than I don't. It's embarrassing. It is what it is. One day, maybe I'll get a handle on it. But right now is not that time for me. I just seem to always have dirty dishes in my sink. I'm constantly loading and unloading the dishwasher. But I had to reframe that and tell myself, dirty dishes in the sink are a sign that we have a lot of food to eat. My family is always eating. And what a blessing to have abundance of food, that I always have dirty dishes. Same thing with a basket of dirty laundry. As a family of 5, we constantly have laundry. I will never get caught up. I've had to recognize it. This is my season of life. There's a lot of us here, but that just means we have places to go and people to see and things to do. And what a blessing that I have baskets. I should have said baskets of dirty laundry. What an abundant life that we live. But again, when we reframe our thinking to feel abundant, we attract more abundance to us. So that whole there's not enough issue, toxic mindset, we need to really reframe it and look at our lives and see all the ways in which we are totally abundant. Because when we do that, we attract more to us. The next toxic mindset that I want to go into is it's possible for her, but not for me. And like I said, we've all experienced this at some point in our lives. If not in this business, I guarantee at some point that's going to rear its ugly little head, and it's going to sneak out of your mouth, or it's going to come out as a thought in your head. But I want to encourage you that her success does not equate your failure. And I used to look at other people and compare myself and be like, golly, like, I don't understand. And I would even spend time figuring out, okay, well, what is she doing? She must be doing something. Like, there's got to be something that she's doing that I'm not doing. And that was a lot of wasted time, because her getting what I want and seeing the level of success that I'm aspiring to is a clear sign from the universe that I can have it too. So again, reframing my thinking, if I'm seeing someone else have incredible success in the business, that means I can too. Right? I can look at my upline, Lindsay Matway, who makes more money per week than most people make as a double salary income family in a year, right? And I can be like, damn, I just don't think I can ever get to her level. Or I can reframe it and be like, that's awesome. She's doing it and she's continuing to help other people get there. That just means it's 100% possible for me too. And I'm excited for that to be my life, right? And I just want to remind you, in case you've forgotten, because I think sometimes along the way we seem to forget how amazing and special and just how beautiful and perfect we're made. All of us are created equal. I just want you to let that sit in for a second. We are all created equal, but here's the difference. Some of us just haven't tapped into our greatness yet. And I'm going to talk a little bit of how to do that. But I just want you to know we're all created equal. If you believe in God and a higher power, we were all created from higher source God, right? So we are all created in his image, her image, if you believe that. And it's beautiful and it's perfect. And we were made perfect. And we're all came from the same place, which means we're all created equal, which means we all have greatness living inside of us. So just want you to remember that. And the last thing on the toxic mindset that I want to talk about is making sure that we get clear on what we really want. And here's where I see a lot of us, especially when I talk to us as coaches, is that we're afraid to say what we really want. And I totally get that, because somewhere along the way in life, we forget to dream big. I don't know where it is. I look at my kids and my son, we were talking about what we wanted to be, and he wants to be a baseball player, a fireman, and a builder. And he's just going to do it because that's what there is no doubt in his mind that he's going to become all of those things when he grows up. But somewhere along the way, we lose that ability to dream. Or maybe we've tried for things in the past and it hasn't, happened for us. So then we kind of pull back on what it is we really want. So we just settle. But I'm here to tell you, it's okay to want big things. I'm mostly talking about money and wealth right now, okay? But in life, it's okay to want big things, but it's okay to want to be rich and wealthy. You can be spiritual, you can be rich, and you can be an amazing person, okay? I'm just going to say that right now. I think sometimes we get in this business, and no harm if you said this, but there's nothing that irks me more when people are like, I'm not in this business for the money. I'm only here to help people. And I know at some point we have all said this, and if you said this, I'm not trying to call you out, but here's what I want to say in that. Of course, we're all here to help people. We wouldn't be in this business if we weren't here to help people. But it's okay to say, and I also want to make a really amazing income while I'm at it. There's nothing wrong with that. And here's what I'm also going to say. If you're not making a good income doing this, you're probably not helping that many people. And I say that out of love and respect to you, but our income, that's what I love most about this business. It is always directly tied into our impact. And the more people we impact in a positive way, the bigger our income grows. So it's okay to say, I am in this business to help people. That's an obvious, but I also want to make really good money doing it. And here's what I also want to say. If you're not living in abundance financially, you cannot serve to your highest ability. And the first time I understood that, it kind of pissed me off, because I was like, that's just saying if I'm not rich and I'm not wealthy, then I can't, be of service to other people. And that is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if you're not living in abundance, you can't serve to your highest ability. And let me give you an example of what that means. When you are stretched to the max with bills and living in stress and worry about your finances, you're probably not in the best place where you can help others. You're probably not in a happy, cheerful state where other people around you are uplifted by your energy. And probably if you had the option, or if somebody asked for help, if you're stretched to the max and you are in debt and you are barely keeping your head above water, you're not able to give in the way that you probably want to. And I can 100% say this in my own life. When we were like I said, it's the 28th and we're like, oh, come on, first of the month so we can get paid. I wasn't living in abundance and I wasn't able to give and serve at my highest ability. For example, I was working all the time. I never saw my kids, okay? That was such a stressor. I couldn't tithe and give back to my church like I wanted to. If family members needed help, I couldn't help them because there was nothing I could give. Now, 3 years into this business, I'm in a place in my life where I am able to spend time with my kids, and they see the less stressed mom. And I'm a better mom when I'm not stressed out about finances. I just am. We just got our tax statements in on how much you give to your church. We gave more to our church this year than we ever have. And I'm proud of that. And I'm not saying it to brag, but I'm proud of that. This year, I've had family members that have needed assistance in different ways, and I was able to say, here, have it, and don't even worry about paying me back. And that feels good. But guess what? If I wasn't living in abundance, I wouldn't be able to serve in that way. So that's what I mean by that. The universe, again, I use God, universe, Holy Spirit. They're all the same to me. Whichever one you can latch on to, take it. Wants to support you. God wants us. If you think about God, and if you're a believer in God, He's our Father in heaven. And as a parent, I think of God as like my parent. As a parent, you want to give your children the best. You want them to live the most beautiful, blessed life ever. And that's how I feel like he looks like at us, right? But we got to get specific on what we want to receive so the universe can deliver. If we don't know what we want, we're wavering. It's like he's like, hey, I want to help you, but I don't really know what you want, so I can't really help you get there, right? So own what you want unapologetically. Own it. It's okay to say, I want big things in this business. I want to make this much money. I want to help this gigantic amount of people. Own it. Okay? So moving on. So back on the mindset, we talked about, the mindset, and I want to talk about affirmations. If you are not doing affirmations, I would strongly suggest you start immediately. Here are some affirmations that I love. I have a whole ton of affirmations that I say, but here are some I think that would be really helpful for you. And the reason affirmations are important is because when you say them out loud and they go out into the universe, there's something magical that happens when you say them out loud, right? It becomes part of who you are. You start to feel them and you start to embody them and you start to see them show up in your reality. So here's one. I am happier, healthier, wealthier, and more fit today than I was yesterday. When my alarm goes off, that's like what I say when I wake up. I'm happier, healthier, wealthier, and more fit today than I was yesterday. Every single morning as I'm getting out of bed. Another one I like to say is I always have what I need when I need it, and I am fully supported by God and the universe. I attract clients and coaches who are excited to work with me, right? I live life in the highest vibration and only good flows to me. I radiate success. Now, I don't know we'll talk about how to create those affirmations. I don't know what's going to latch onto you, but I will say this, when you are saying your affirmations, here's the little secret ingredient. It's one thing to say them, but you can't fool the universe. If you're just saying, I attract clients and coaches who are excited to work with me, that basically falls flat and it's a waste of your time. What I would encourage you to do is go to the mirror, look at yourself in the eye, strike a Wonder Woman pose if you have to, and start saying them with conviction. I want you to embody them. When I say my affirmations, I literally feel warm. It's a crazy thing, but I feel like it's what I like to call the body buzz, where literally I feel like I get tingly because I'm saying them, looking myself in the eyes and saying so strongly and so powerfully that I literally feel like I'm emitting a vibration. I get that body buzz feeling. So if you are not saying them with that level of conviction, you need to start practicing. And at first, it's awkward and weird. If it's weird for you to look at yourself in the mirror in the eyes to do it, cool, don't. Yell them out loud in your car. I used to literally yell them while I was driving my kids or dropped off my kids for the day. It would just be me in my van driving to work, yelling my affirmations in the car until I felt them. And I'm telling you, what you put out, you'll get back. So affirmations, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I strongly encourage you to do that. Woo. Let's see. Okay, next thing, belief. Okay. So we're still in the mindset of the belief. So I know that I have talked to a lot of my coaches too, and it's like, oh, it's just so hard, right? Why does everything feel so hard? You get to the point in your business, like I'm doing everything and I feel like it's just so hard. Hitting Success Club is just so hard, right? Here's what I will tell you. If you don't 100% believe you can have success in the business, it's because there's something in your subconscious that's keeping you from getting there. There is no such thing as half believing. You either 100% believe without a doubt that what you want to happen in this business will happen, or you don't. There's no like 50-50 or 80-20. It's either 100% or you don't. Okay? But here's what I'll tell you. A lot of us say, I do believe, but there's that little, if there's something in you that's like, but you have that little bit of doubt or fear sneak in, right? And that's your subconscious keeping you safe because that's its job, right? That's your ego inside of you wanting to protect you from getting let down or feeling discouraged. It's keeping you safe in your comfort zone within all of your limiting beliefs, all of those, well, it's possible for her, but not for me. Again, that's your subconscious, your ego telling you, of course it's possible for her, but not for you. So maybe you shouldn't really 100% believe, right? You have got to shift your belief in order to shift your results. straight up. Again, there's no such thing as half believing. So I know y'all are like, okay, Raquel, I want to believe, but for whatever reason, I am having doubt. How do I break through those beliefs? So I'm gonna break it down for you, because let's be real, we all go through them. We never arrive at 100% believing. It's always a constant work in progress. But here's what I will tell you. 3 ways to shift your beliefs. I'm someone who needs structure and being told what to do. So here's how you do it. First and foremost, journaling. I think at the beginning of the year, I had you write out and journal a few questions. And I would venture to say that maybe 2 out of 10 went ahead and did it. And the rest of us are probably like, that's a waste of time. I don't have time to journal. And the reason I say that is because that is so my thought. I'd be like, I can just think about it. I don't need to really write it out. But here's what I'll tell you. There's something, again, special that happens when we journal. And I've just started doing this. And I'm telling you, when you allow yourself to free write, things come up that I didn't even know I believed. And it's crazy. And sometimes you just got to get it out. It's better out than in. And like I said, a lot of times we don't even know it's way up in there. So one of the things that, if you were having a limiting belief, well, why can't I make $80,000 a week like my upline? Why can't I? And then all of my limiting beliefs will come up, right? But get them out. Just get them out. And I'm just going to not even think about it. I'm just going to write and see all the things that come up. Step 2 is when you start to feel yourself having these limiting beliefs and these like, I don't know, I just don't think I can do this. It's too hard, whatever. Choose a better feeling thought. And that sounds so simple. And it is simple, but it's really hard to do in the moment until you retrain yourself. But here's what I will tell you. Anything that brings you down or makes you feel less than divine is untrue. So if you're looking at yourself, I always, think about this for my challengers, and they look at themselves and they're like, I just feel so gross. I feel so ugly. Like that little thought isn't true, because again, you are made in the image of God, of the universe, and you are perfect just the way you are. And if you're feeling that way, just know that's not what God wants you to think, and it's not true. So I've had to literally retrain my mind when these ugly, nasty thoughts come up, and they come up for all of us, let me tell you, and be like, no, that's untrue. I kind of like almost have this like alter ego of like this little nasty, if I can say it, bitch who lives in my head and tells me ugly things. And I'm like, no, ma'am, bye, Felicia. That is not true. That is not a thought from God. That is not true. And then I have to choose a better feeling thought of, I am perfectly and wonderfully made. And I have to tell myself that. And it's a constant. When these negative thoughts come up, it's a retraining of your mind to choose a better feeling thought. Okay. And then finally is reframing every limiting belief with an affirmation. So if you've journaled, as you're saying, if you're seeing these thoughts come up that are untrue, reframe it with an affirmation. So observe thoughts with love and curiosity and not judgment. So don't beat yourself up about it, being like, oh my God, I have like the worst self-esteem ever. What's wrong with me? No, just recognize it for what it is. Okay. That's not a true thought. That's a limiting belief, and let's reframe it. So example, instead of hitting Success Club is so hard. How many of us have said that? I know we have, because I've talked to you as coaches. Instead, reframe it. That's a limiting belief because hitting Success Club is not hard. And I want you to say this instead. There are hundreds of women out there waiting to work with me. I just have to show up. And that's what we do. Anytime we have a negative limiting belief, I need you to reframe it into an affirmation that you can tell yourself over and over and over and over and over again until it becomes ingrained in you and you 100% believe it. But again, that takes practice. Okay? So those are the 3 ways to shift your beliefs. The next step, 3 keys to success, I just talked about. You're doing all the things. You got the strategy. We talked about the mindset, the affirmations, the personal development, what are you learning, and then the belief. But now let's talk about energy and alignment. And this is where you're going to be like, she's on to something, or she is on something and she's literally crazy. And I get that. But I just want you to come in with an open mind right now as I talk about these things that you may or may not have heard before. For me, last year was a spiritually growing experience for me. And I've come a long way. But I know when I first heard this, I was like, this is crazy talk. So hang in there with me. But basically, if you've never heard of manifesting, it is taking, it's basically law of attraction, co-creation, manifesting. It's that we are creating our life by design. And I never understood what that meant. When they said life by design, I never understood what that meant. And I feel like I'm finally starting to get the grasp of it. But let me just break it down for you. Again, this is just like the basic Cliff's Notes versions. But basically this, our thoughts and our feelings, how we're feeling, equals our energy, which equals our reality. So thoughts and feelings create and emit an energy, which kind of comes off as vibration, which also creates our reality. Okay, so just hang in there with me. Just know that our thoughts, feelings, energy, reality. So, for example, when you are in a funk and when you are in a negative thought pattern, this is what happens. We build negative momentum to what we don't want. So law of attraction, which is a universal law in the universe, just like law of gravity, we know that that exists. Law of attraction states we're all emitting a frequency and energy. And if you look it up in physics books, all that stuff, if we were to put ourselves under a microscope, you would see that we are emitting a vibration. And the law of attraction states that we attract what we emit. So when you're in a negative thought pattern, most likely if you're having negative thoughts, you're having negative feelings, and you're attracting negative experiences to you, right? And that's negative momentum to what we don't want. So the key to manifesting and creating the life that we want is shifting the momentum to what we do want. So here's that. Always choosing better thoughts. So we just talked about that. When you see those negative thoughts come up, and they just will, recognize it and choose a better thought. Say, that's not true, and choose a better thought. And if you have to say it out loud, again, affirming a better thought, do it. A next way to shift the momentum to what we do want is gratitude and appreciation. You know, nothing can come into our life unless we open ourselves up to being grateful for what we already have. So nothing new can come into our life unless we open up ourselves to being grateful for what we already have. So being grateful for where we are now. Maybe your life isn't perfect. None of ours is. Maybe, you wish you were further along in your business. Maybe you wish you had more money in your bank account, but being grateful for everything you have right now and being super appreciative of it. Again, I've done a lot of work on money mindset, and I have a scarcity mindset of like not wanting to spend money and wanting to hoard it and being like, oh my God, there's not enough money, right? So I've had to retrain myself. Every time I swipe my debit card, I tell myself, there's more where that came from. There's more where that came from. There's more where that came from, other than like, oh God, I don't really want to spend that money, right? And I have to tell myself, there's more where that came from. No big deal. And then I even tell myself, okay, money, go make some money, babies, and come back to me, right? Energy, money is just flowing of energy. And I just think it's going to flow out and it's going to come back to me. And I have to visualize that. Paying bills. I also talked about this in my live video. We're getting in tax season. You may or may not owe taxes. I don't know. Paying bills, paying insurance, paying your mortgage. And it sucks to write a big bill payment off. But if you're super grateful, when I'm writing my mortgage payment, I'm like, you know what? I'm so grateful that the bank has loaned me this money to live in this beautiful home with my babies, a warm home with a roof over my head. I'm so grateful and thankful that I'm paying this bill for this beautiful home that I live in. And just truly taking a moment to be super grateful, because we can't bring anything into our lives, anything new, unless we're super grateful for what we have. That is a wonderful way to shift your vibration, shift momentum to what we do want so we can attract more of it to us. And then finally, it's just being in the moment and allowing ourselves to receive the fullness of the moment. This one is always the one that I think is hardest for most people. It's definitely hardest for me. But most of us, if you'll notice, just check your breathing right now. Most of us are breathing pretty shallow. If I have to really take time to set aside to really allow myself to take some deep breaths in and out, because most of us are just breathing very, very shallow. We're super distracted. We're not fully awake, right? We're just not fully present. We're constantly on our phone. We're distracted. But if you take time to just look around you and be in the moment, and like sometimes for me, it's just like smelling my baby's hair. And I'm like, oh, it smells so good. And like touching their soft skin, or being outside. I'm telling you, there's something special that happens with nature when you are in the moment and you allow yourself to receive how beautiful it is in this moment right here, right now. that is what helps you shift the momentum and the energy and alignment. I will tell you, funks, negative thought patterns come up all the time. They just do. But if you can figure out a way to get yourself back into a positive, you will quickly change your day around. Because if you've ever noticed when your day starts off bad and you wake up late and then you stub your toe heading to, the bathroom, and then you spill coffee on you, and it's like, my God, this day is just like the worst ever. And guess what? The day, just more things continue to be the worst day ever because you're bringing that in. But if you can shift, right? You're like, okay, self, today hasn't started out as great as I want. Let me shift it. And I don't know what that looks like for you. Maybe it's taking time to, write some things that you're grateful for, saying 3 things that you're grateful for, being super present, spending some time to do some deep breathing and being present in where you are, maybe calling a best friend, taking a bubble bath. I don't know what that looks like for you, but if you can figure out how to shift your alignment and your energy, your whole day will turn around. I promise. I've found myself doing that too. I'm like, nope, I got to stop this in the tracks or we are headed down a slippery spiral of negativity. Okay, next thing I want to talk about, and I'm getting close to the end because I know we're running out of time. Your current circumstances don't mean anything about you as a person. So I just talked about how we're responsible for creating our own life through our thoughts, through our feelings, which create that energy and emit a frequency and a vibration that creates our reality. So if you're looking around and you're like, well, shit, this is not where I wanted to be right now, and I created this, I've been there. I know what that feels like. But look, you are perfect exactly as you are, regardless of external events or circumstances. We are constantly manifesting and co-creating and creating our life, but most of us aren't aware of it. Okay? And I will tell you this, once you're aware of it, that you are, regardless of whether or not you believe in manifesting and co-creating, you don't necessarily have to believe it, but it's a universal law and it's working for you or not. So if you look around you and you're happy with where you are in every aspect of your life, kudos. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you're looking around you and you're like, I'm not really where I want to be, then maybe we need to really work on our energy and alignment and really working on reframing our thoughts and how we feel so that we can start emitting that energy and that vibration of positivity so we can attract more of it into our lives. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to embody the vision, the ideal vision for your life. Visualize it. What does it look like? On your perfect day. One of the things I love to do as I'm getting ready for bed is I visualize what's my perfect day look like. And I will literally go down to like what the cup of coffee that I'm having on my perfect day and where I'm going out to eat brunch with my best friends and what we're doing, what we're talking about. I get very specific with what my vision for my life looks like. Again, journal. If you're not journaling, you should be, because there's crap up in our heads that we probably don't even know is in our subconscious, but better out than in. Get it out on paper so you can recognize what's there, what kind of, ugliness we might have, so we can reframe it and put it to the positive, affirm it in a good way. And then speak as if in present tense. Genevieve and Jessica, if y'all are on this, y'all know we love to do this. We just speak as if it's already there. Sometimes we just will get into conversation as if we've already arrived. And honestly, it feels funny and goofy, but it's really fun and it's a quick way to raise your vibration, speaking as if it's done. Like, I love to be like, yes, it's done. And I feel it like it is done. And embody, but I will say this, embody what you can actually believe. I'll be honest, I haven't done enough spiritual growth where I believe I can make $80,000 in a week, which is probably why I'm not making that yet. So I have to maybe embody what I do believe I can make. And right now, I'm embodying the fact that I make $5,000 a week. It's done. Like, it's happening. This year, I'm a Beachbody coach who makes $5,000 a week. That feels so good to me. It's possible, and I know it is. It's done, right? So I want you to figure out and embody that vision that you can really get a hold of. And as you continue to grow and up-level your life, you'll be able to embody a little bit more and believe a little bit more. But again, this kind of just takes practice. Okay, here's what I want you to tell you. This is a way of life. I have just recently been living this way, and I'm telling you, I feel different. My life looks different. This is how successful people live. Regardless of if you think everything I've said is a load of crock, that's fine. You can keep going on with your bad self, living your life how you want to live it. But I'm telling you, this is how successful people live. But it takes practice every freaking day. I spend so much time on my mindset and really focusing on my practices that bring me into alignment. I love essential oils. I'm getting into crystals. I have to spend time, in my Bible study, focusing there. There's just certain things that I have to do to raise my vibration and help me to, grow my beliefs and my thoughts. And so I can really feel the way I want to feel so that I can attract more of that into my life. But it's a constant practice. And I notice that when I get out of the habit of like, oh, I don't need to do that today, I don't have time, or there goes a few days like that, I can feel a difference in how I feel, and I can see it show up in my life. So just know it's a way of life, but it takes practice. We can't always be high vibe all the time. But when you're having an off day and you see yourself slipping and getting low vibe, learn how to get back to high vibe as soon as possible. And I don't know what that means for you. For me, sometimes, honestly, it means taking a minute to just relax, clearing my head, and honestly going to watch an episode of Gossip Girl. That's ridiculous. It's mindless TV, but for some reason, it makes me super happy and helps me get high vibe. So again, I don't know what that looks like for you, but maybe that would be helpful. I don't know. And I just want to share with you quickly my story because I know we're getting late in time. But so I know a lot of you have heard my story of where I was 3 years ago as to where I am now. But I was talking with my mom this weekend and I was like, honestly, I love my life. Like, I'm looking around and I literally love my life. But there was a point 3 years ago where I was in such a funk in life. I had everything. I did everything I was supposed to do. And I thought I had a job that I loved. I had 3 beautiful babies, an amazing man that I'm married to. And I just was like, okay, I've done it all. And I feel like I should be further along. I'm not happy. I'm in a funk. I was bitter when I would see other people being successful. It honestly pissed me off. And I would be like, well, easy for them because insert every limiting belief excuse in the book. And then I finally got to a point where I was like, this is BS. If other people can do it, it's proof that I can build a life that I love and I'm obsessed with too. So I made a decision to make it happen. And that's what it is. It's a decision to change your life. No one's coming to save you. Nothing's magically going to happen to make your life better. You have to decide what it is you want for your life and make it happen. And 3 years later, I've never been in a better place ever. Like, I'm obsessed with my entire life. I needed this business in more ways than I even knew when I first signed up. And I just know I'm continuing to grow spiritually, mentally, physically. 80-Day Obsession is challenging me in ways I didn't even know I needed to be challenged in. But you have to decide. This is a decision to live this way and to be positive and to know that you are fully supported by God. The universe always has your back, but you're co-creating by how you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're emitting out into the world. So I want to leave you with 2 final quotes that I feel like really sum it up. And again, this was like the very basic of law of attraction, co-creation, manifesting. But basically, actions speak louder than words. You, of course, have to have the strategy. I'm not here to say you just think positive and visualize and do all that. You still got to take some aligned action. You still got to be moving forward in your business and working that strategy, because remember, those are the 3 keys to success. Actions speak louder than words, so you got to put some aligned action behind what you want for your life. But vibrations and beliefs speak louder than all of it. So you can take all the action in the world, but if you are not 100% believing and vibrating at that high vibe state, you're never going to get to the level of success that you want to. You're just not. And then the last part, and I think this is the hardest part for all of us, is that your mind must arrive at your destination before your life does. So again, you have to practice acting as if it's already happened, visualizing what it is. And a lot of times you have to do that work before it shows up in your life. But just know it's on its way. Okay, so that is all I had there. I wish I could see you. I might have to switch to the other computer. But are there any questions? And again, I'm sorry that I can't see you and you're just seeing my face. Any questions or anything I went through today? No. Wow. Nothing? Who right now does affirmations daily? Can I see just a show of hands if you're good? And when you say your affirmations, do you say them while looking yourself in the mirror? No? So I would encourage you to do that and then literally say them with so much conviction that your body gets warm. Again, you'll know what I mean. I call it the body buzz when you're like, it's almost like I literally feel like I have like energy bouncing off of me, and it feels crazy until you experience it. And when you do, you're gonna be like, this is what she's talking about. Okay. So again, the homework for today is I want you to figure out what it is that you really want in your life in this business. How much money do you really want to make? And it's okay to want big things. Okay. And then I want you to journal anything that comes up. Why don't you believe you can have that? Okay. So again, you're going to journal, why don't I believe I can have that? And then anything that comes up, if it's a negative belief, you're going to say, that's not true. And then you're going to reframe it into an affirmation, right? If you think I can't hit Success Club, it's hard, you're reframing it to, there are hundreds of women out there who need my help and want it, are excited to work with me, and just need me to show up in their lives. And then feel it. Okay. Let's see, I'm reading chat. This makes you so much more motivated. Yes, affirmations in the mirror instead of to yourself. I mean, I say them to myself too, but there's something magical when you look at yourself in the eye in the mirror. Lots of self-reflection happen. Yes. And evict that nasty bitch in your head telling you lies. Literally. Like, get her out of there. I don't know why she shows up, but she is. But I literally have to be like, no, bitch, you're lying. Get out. Good. Positive mindset. So there's a ton of stuff. I would encourage you. I'll have to go through. I'll make a list this week on positive mindset, but basically just YouTube positive mindset and see what comes up. There's so much out there. I'm a huge fan of Tony Robbins. He talks about this all the time. I love him. I think his energy really relates to me. Les Brown is really good too. There's just a ton out there for you. I'll put some of my favorites out there this week, but just YouTube it and see what really relates to you and what you feel like you can really kind of get in touch with speaking wise. Because there's some people that are super motivational. I'm like, I'm not really feeling your vibe, so I have to find someone else. And yes, Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard is amazing. I love Brendon Burchard. If you don't listen to his podcast, he also has a YouTube channel. He's incredible. He's high vibe. He's all over this and mindset and positivity and the psychology behind it. So if you're somebody who wants to know the science behind it, there's a ton of science behind it. I didn't really go into all of it, but he's incredible as well. All right. Anything else? No? Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in Team VIP or message me. But I'm super, super excited. I'm telling you, this is the missing piece in a lot of our businesses. I know for a while I was doing really great and then I got stagnant. And then once I started applying these principles, my business has exploded on a different level. So that is my encouragement to you, is just to really go try these out for yourself and see what happens. Okay? All right. Thank y'all so much for attending tonight. And I hope you have a fabulous week. Bye, y'all.